What is up, everyone? Welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. In today's video, guys, I want to talk about the best free legendary champions that everybody should build. And I'm not talking about the usual suspects. I'm talking about the top 5 free legendaries everybody can actually get. I do want to pretty much offer content for all type of players, right? Early game, mid game, beginners, new players, pros, everything, right? But in today's video, I really want to talk about these champions because for a lot of players, especially if you're a newish player, they might go under the radar and you might not be looking at them like, oh my god, these characters can actually help me, because you're not really seeing much of them nowadays. But they're still very, very, very powerful characters. And some of them can be acquired from the clan shop. Some of them will just pop on your account for free once you reach a specific amount of days on daily logins, or others can be acquired in different means, right? But everybody can get these champions for free. If you enjoy the content, do me a favor, smash a like, subscribe, and if you are an OG player, let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about these champions? Are you using them anywhere at all, or you're kind of like, well, past this stage and you're only using mythical and OP void legendary champions, which most likely is not going to be the case. But let's start with the fans' favorite, okay? This is the fans' favorite, and that is Scyl of the Drakes. A lot of you guys might be like, well, you know what, Skratch? It's 2025. Wake up. She kind of like had her life, you know? It's gone. She's not really relevant anymore. And if we are talking about a super stacked account, I think she still has some relevance, you know, like I am using mine on my account, and I do like to think that my account is somehow fairly stacked, right? Like I have a lot of crazy champions on the account. Now, there are, of course, a few different ways on how you can build Scyl of the Drakes. This one that I have is on a regen set because she's being used for super hardcore content, and I've done some solo things with her. And one of the main things that I like to do a lot with her, when we have a Forge Pass, for example, you will require to go in the campaign and heal I don't know how many times with Leech or stuff like that. I just throw her in there. I literally do a few fights and that is done. Now, I don't really do a lot of campaign, only when there's a champion training event for a fusion or something really important. But as a champion, she is actually pretty good progression-wise. If we're talking about faction wars, carrying your ass in dungeons, Curse City, Doom Tower, like her and another champion that we're gonna name, they can literally duo bosses in the Doom Tower hard mode, bosses that you might be struggling with. As I was saying, this is not a video dedicated to the most hardcore super krakens in the game that have all of the champions available. Is for the rest of you guys that might be on an edge. Is it still worth investing in Scyl of the Drakes? And I think it is. She does require quite a few books, though. I personally think that you can use her just fine without books. One of the main skills that I would suggest you to book, if you can, is the A3. But that means that you're going to need to get very lucky with the RNG when you're putting the books. And they might go into different skills, so you might end up in wasting a lot of books. But I think you can definitely run her without books without a problem. The A1 has a chance to land a decreased speed, drops the thermometer, AoE attack, a double hitter with a chance to stun. Now, when we're talking about builds for Scyl of the Drakes, you can either go with something like this, which will be useful more for like duo, solo content as well. If you have a high Brimstone Blessing on her, that's even better. But you can go with a stun set if you need more crowd control from that second skill. That can work really nice, especially in areas like faction wars, Curse City. Or you can go even with a Relentless set. The reason why a Relentless set would be great is because of the passive. Heals all allies by 10% of their max HP at the start of each turn. So every time she takes a turn, you're just going to heal your entire team, and places an increased speed buff on a random ally for 2 turns. So, truth be told, I think the best build, the all-rounder, will be a Relentless set. The main thing you need on her is basically speed, some survivability, a bit of accuracy to be able to basically drop the thermometer, the decreased speed, the stun, and that will get the job done. If we're talking about relics, you have a bunch of different options that you can use. This is a good one for her. Golden Elixir will enable her to stay alive, or running something like this, like the Demonic Effigy, pushing the Termiter whenever somebody dies so she can constantly get back to that reviving. Let me know what you guys think about Seal of the Drakes. And since we are talking about a different champion that a lot of people will be able to get, and you might be wondering, is it still worth building a Drexthar? If you build Drexthar together with Scyl, you can literally duo the Griffin in the Doom Tower. You can put in some serious work versus the Dragon as well. I kind of forgot the full name of the dragon. Not a Magma Dragon, is the other dragon with the little mages around. They work really, really nice versus that boss as well. And Drexthar can be pretty useful early game for the Hydra, Faction Wars, Fire Knight because of the multi-healing skill, and of course, Curse City. You have a lot of bosses in there, a lot of stages that are challenging. I wouldn't necessarily say that you're gonna use him as your main provoker in the Hydra forever, right? He has only a 50% chance to do the decrease attack and the provoke without booking him. Other than that, I think he can be a very good tank for the Spider. A lot of things did change since we had these champions released in the game, because we have so many options, so many good epics as well that will enable you to defeat the Spider dungeon. It's not necessarily a challenge, that particular dungeon anymore, right? But even with that taken into consideration, this can be a very, very good champion for a lot of content. Now, if you're planning to duo, a regen set can work really, really nice on him. If you're planning to run something else where you want him to push in some damage, you can run even a Savage set on him. The only thing is, you're not really going to get crazy, crazy damage out of him. I have him built on a lifesteal set, and that's mainly because I have like 3 lifesteal sets kept on my account, and I do want to equip some of the gear that is just using the space on champions that I'm using every now and then in particular content, and more specific like the Curse City on my account, because even though I have them available, I have so many other champions available that can make my life easier in Faction Wars, for example. So I'm not going to end up in using him unless it's required. And I did use him in Faction Wars hard mode because he does bring in 3 debuffs to the table, right? This heals the champion by 20% of the damage inflicted if the target is under an HP burn, which can be really nice. He has a chance to place the HP burn. The passive will place HP burn whenever he gets hit. Of course, it is a chance for it to happen. Increases his resistance. And then bang, this skill right here can be pretty damn nice. I did try to build quite a few different teams for the Hydra clan boss with him as the provoker and the decrease attack. He's not a best provoker, but he can work in there as well. And yeah, you have quite a few different options in terms of gear. But I still think he's worth building. He does require a few books as well, but considering that what you're getting from books is just a higher chance to land the HP burn or the debuffs, I think that early game you can just build him up and go in without books. And later, once you're going to be at a stage where you kind of like build up a big part of your account, you're not necessarily always struggling for books, even though it's very hard with so many champions dropping in the game all the time and pulling a new shiny toy and getting distracted with a new champion you've pulled. You change all of your plans completely. You will get to a point where you're going to be like, okay, I think I can invest some books in this champion if I still need to, if I'm still using him extensively in a lot of content. But progression-wise, it's really good. Now, you can acquire Drexthar directly from the bazaar. You're going to be able to pick up fragments. I can't really remember exactly how long it takes you to get the champion from the bazaar. I know it is a few months, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. It has been a very, very long time since I got mine from there, right? But it does take quite a bit of time. I do want to talk about another champion that you can pick up from the clan shop. So right here in the clan shop, I can't remember. I think it's level 9, if I remember it correctly. So slot 3, slot 6, slot 7. Okay, so slot 7 is right here. It will take you a bit of time as well to purchase the fragments, but the champion is Yakarl the Scourge from the Barbarian faction. Void legendary. I think he's great. Early game, mid game, end game, he brings so many things to the table. If we're talking about Fire Knight, if we're talking about Doom Tower progression on waves, if we're talking about Curse City, not to mention Faction Wars, normal mode, hard mode, he's just goated. And I do think he is worth skilling up. He can be very useful in PvP as well. You have the freeze on the A1. Will ignore defense if the target is under a freeze debuff. You have a single target attack with a decreased speed and a chance to land a freeze. Steals all the thermometer from the target and places an increased speed on the champion. And will ignore 50% of the target's defense against targets under freeze debuffs, which means that he can actually put in some pretty damn good damage. And you have an AoE attack with a chance to freeze. The chance increases to 100 against targets with 75% or more thermometer. And this cannot be resisted if they have more than 75% thermometer. Really, really nice, because you don't need to go on and get stupid accuracy for every single skill. This passive is pretty nice as well, because it will place the unkillable on the champion for 1 turn whenever they kill an enemy under freeze. Then increases the damage this champion inflicts by 10% for each champion in battle under a freeze. The more, the better. Also decreases the damage this champion receives by 10% for each champion in the battle under a freeze. I'm curious to see the reviews on him. You see, he does have pretty good reviews. Yes, he's not really a Hydra champion, not really a Demon Lord. For the Ice Golem, yes and no. I mean, he's not that bad. In the Dragon, he's good for the waves, but not really versus the actual boss, because there's no poisons in there. Not great versus the Chimera, but if you're looking at all of the other areas, surprised they haven't added like the Curse City in here, right? That's long overdue, Plarium. Unless I'm blind. Yeah, I'm surprised the Curse City is not here. I think it should be, because a lot of these champions are very powerful in there, and the Curse City does give you some of the best rewards in the game. Not to mention, you can get a mythical champion, soul stones, coins to purchase the soul stones, and tons of other goodies, right? You want to build him with a bit of accuracy. If you're building him for PvE, especially like the Fire Knight, a Relentless set can work amazing on him, maybe with a Perception to get some extra accuracy, a bit of speed, or you can even build him on a Savage, a Lethal, an Instinct, Cruel, anything that enables you to push in some damage. And he's a very, very good champion, okay? I know a lot of people might just go and get him and probably never build him because, well, I don't need to use the champion, but he's very effective even on Fire Knight stage than hard mode. We do have a few epics that are really good in there that you could argue it and say, well, I'm using those epics. Is there any point to use Yakarl? Yakarl can be better to deal a lot of damage versus the waves, for example, right? Then, I do want to talk about a champion that you will be getting for free. I can't really remember. Is it day 365 or something like that? It does take quite a bit of time to get to this champion. But hey, maybe you're going to pull her earlier. And I do think that she's huge as a champion. She used to be one of the worst Void legendary champions in the entire game. But that changed a long time ago. If you're looking at the reviews, you can see she has pretty good reviews. She's not really a PvP champion. You can use her, of course, but there are many other options that are better. She's a defense-based champion, Void legendary as well. Now, with her, I would definitely recommend you to throw in the books. She does hit like 10 of them. Gradually, you can do it. AoE decrease speed, the ally protection. You have the provoke, a shield on the team. She can be a pretty good provoker for the Hydra clan boss. And you have thermometer manipulation on the skill right here. Now, when we are talking about builds for V6, guys, it does kind of like depend what you are planning to do with her. This is the build that I have on her, and this is for the Cursed City. I wanna provoke and actually freeze the heck out of the enemies after they attack me, right? I do love this build. I think it's really, really good. Faction Wars, this can work amazing as well. And I think her biggest value is literally for Waves, Doom Tower, Faction Wars, Curse City, progression in the Hydra. Early game, mid game, even in the end game if you end up in not having better provokers. But there are a lot of better provokers for the Hydra as well. And she does a fantastic job like this. You can even build her for damage. The only thing is you don't really want to utilize the ally protection skill as often in terms of like counting for her to keep your team alive with ally protection, because it's just the way the crit damage and ally protection multipliers damage works in the game and is a bit awkward. But she can do a bit of damage as well. I actually had at some point damage Visix, right? And it might sound pretty damn weird. Then, the final champion, guys, she will be a daily login. After you're done with all of this, okay, so day 270 for Visix is not 365 as I was saying. Once you're done with these rewards, you're gonna be able to get Cleopterix. Now, Cleopterix, for a lot of people, might not be too interesting. But what I would tell you is that she has good multipliers. Okay, she can actually do good damage, but she brings in a lot of utility as well. So the Skinwalker faction, while it has quite a few great champions now, it's kind of like still struggling a bit with good control, good damage dealers. And I'm not talking about Marius and the most OP champions that you can get for free, but it will take you quite a bit of time. And you might want to use some of these champions earlier to be able to progress in the game faster. Cleopterix can be good for PvP to deal damage, and not just that. It will have a chance to put block active skills on targets under hacks, which is actually really, really powerful versus some of the mythical champions. So if you're encountering a lot of mythical champions early game, this can get the job done, especially in Faction Wars hard mode, where you will find a lot of them on the waves. Kursiri, really, really good as well. She self-buffs with increased crit rate and increased crit damage, attacks all enemies. This skill right here, increase accuracy, which means that you can build her with lower accuracy, place the hacks, has a chance to place fear if the enemies are under hacks debuffs. So that can be really, really helpful as well to give you some control. A pretty decent passive with a counter attack. And good damage. That's the most important thing. She doesn't ignore defense, stone skin, and all that. So yeah, she's not going to be a high-end PvP arena nuker or anything like that. But she's still a champion worth building in 2025. Together with all of the other 4 champions that I've just named. I do think that a lot of you guys will actually gain a lot of value from building these champions. As I've mentioned, some of them can be used without the books. Some of them might require the books in order to enable you to do what you have in mind, or it will be harder to do it without the books, but still doable. I do want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. How many of you guys are using these champions? How many of you guys kept them in the vault and ignored them because they're kind of like flying under the radar? Nobody's really talking about these champions in 2025 as we used to in the past, right? But that was all for this video, guys. As usual, appreciate every single one of you guys watching. If you enjoyed the content, do me a favor, smash a like, subscribe, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.